Welcome to the Enable Growth channel.
Hello, welcome to the Enable Growth channel. I'm so glad you joined me for this video today. Today, I'm going to speak about a subject that's critical to the growth of businesses and organizations in 2023 and beyond. One of the key stats that I want to share with you today is that it's estimated that an individual spends 6 hours and 38 minutes a day using the internet. And to add to that, the stat shows that there's a decline in the amount of time that an individual spends using the internet. That sounds like bad news, right? All right. The challenge we have is that individuals are finding new ways to make their time on the internet more meaningful, finding ways to make their time online more purposeful, to get a lot more value from their time online. So they have less time for what I'll call junk content. Okay? What that means for us as organizations and businesses is that we should find new ways of making every time that people are coming onto our platforms count. So if you have a website, for example, how can you drive traffic to your website with your content? And once they come to your content, how can you get them to stick? And how can you make sure that they're spending more time engaging with the content on your website? And then they're coming back so that you get repeat visits. And that's essentially what we have to do in response to this stat. Okay. One of the very effective ways to do this is by blogging. So as a business, you need to consider blogging to drive traffic to your website, among other things, so that you can offer your visitors to your website a lot more value and get them to spend more time on your website and keep coming back to your website. Now, to discuss, so today I'm going to talk about blogging for businesses. In fact, I'm going to start a series today. And the first episode in the series, I'm going to talk about why you need to consider blogging for your business organization. But before we get into that, let us put in context what a blog is. Because sometimes when you hear about a blog, people think of news websites or entertainment websites where gossip is shared. Now, let me clarify this. Those platforms use blogging tools like WordPress, for example, and the other blogging tools that are out there. So if they say they are bloggers or they have a blog, in a way, that's right. But I want to discuss blogging in the context where I define it as a website that is regularly updated with relevant content and insights that is targeted at a clearly defined audience. And it focuses on discussing a clearly defined subject matter. Okay, so a business that is into food might decide to have a food blog. And what they do is share content, for example, about how people can eat healthy, how people can preserve food, how people can explore new recipes to, just move away from the regular food that they eat. So that's what a blog then is. That's the context in which I want to discuss this subject. So it's not a news website and it's not a gossip website like some of us would want to describe it. All right. So like I said, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to discuss a number of topics under this theme of umbrella topic of blogging for businesses and organizations. So let's get into the first part. Why do you need a blog as a business or as an organization? Now, a blog offers enormous benefits to your brand, business, or organization. And if you're not tapping into it, like I said, then it means that you are really not exploring the full potential of your website, not exploring the full potential of how much traffic you can drive to your website and how you can grow the engagement on your website. So the first reason why you need a blog is that it helps you to increase your online presence and search ranking, or what we call visibility. Now, this is what it is. As you will often hear me say, websites don't get found on their own. You have to make them visible. Okay, that's why you hear people say things like search engine optimization, optimizing, for example, responsiveness of your website and things like that. Okay, but here we're focusing on content. So the point I'm making here is that when you have a blog, it means, for example, you'll be churning out new content every week, every 2 weeks, or every month. The more content you have out there, the more relevant content that you have out there, the more search visible you become. So it means when people are searching on content that relates to your business or your organization or the subject matter that your blog focuses on, you are likely to show up. Okay, and the more you show up, the more likely that people will click on it to come to your website. It's as simple as that. Okay, you can also use it to showcase your expertise. Again, let me use this example. Let's say you are a bank and you want to showcase your expertise in personal banking or personal finance. What you want to do is have a blog that discusses topics that enable or help individuals to be able to get the most out of their finances, to be better managers of their money. Things like so you want to give them tips, for example, on how to save towards buying a home, how to save towards buying a new car, how to save on your daily food expenses, how to all those things, how to save towards school and things like that, how to invest, okay, how to plan your retirement, all those. These are all topics that are related to personal finance. And as a bank, you don't want to be known just as the bank that provides the safest place for people to keep their money. You want to also be known as the bank that helps people to get the most out of their money. And that's what you want to create a blog for. And the more you do that, you showcase your expertise. You show yourself as the bank that understands personal finance the most. So that's the second one. It also helps you to attract traffic to your website, like I said. Okay. The more content you have out there, when people search, they are likely to find you, because every piece of content gives you opportunity to be able to attract traffic. It means the ways that people are finding you, the search strength or the keywords that people are using to find you are more. So there's more likelihood that they will find something that is of interest to them. They'll click on it and come to you. Later on, as we go through this, I will show you how you can research and be able to even plan the things that you need to focus on as a blog, so that because what we do is like you're doing audience research. When you understand your target audience, you understand the content you're looking for, you use that to create your blog posts. Okay, so every time they are searching, they are likely to find you. It's also an effective way of telling a brand story. So, for example, again, I talked about this food brand. For example, if you want to share with people different recipes that they can try at home, what you do then is that every time you're sharing a recipe, where you have a relevant product, where your brand features in there, you are creating more usage occasions for your brand. Okay, so you are telling stories about your brand. My tomato can be used for granite soup, can be used for light soup, can be used for jollof, can be used for all sorts of things. So you're telling stories about your brand. Okay, that's very, very important. And then a brand also positions you as a generous, a blog, I should say, positions the brand as a generous one. Okay, people like free things, but not just free things, free valuable things. And when you're giving people ideas, when you're using your blog to give them ideas that are of value, they see you as generous, and they're likely to be loyal to a brand that comes off as generous and giving. Okay, that's also very, very important. And also a great lead generation channel, because what you do then is that you're driving a lot of traffic to your website. And every time that they come to your website, they are exposed to all the content that you have on your website. And when your blog posts are great and they are compelling, the likelihood is that when they finish reading every blog post, they want to go out there to go and buy the product. And where it's about your product, it's not salesy. Here it's very, very gentle. It's very subtle. You're still driving leads to your product. Or even when you're not talking about your product, because you're giving so much value generously, they are likely to want to patronize your product. So, for example, I want to save with the bank that is helping me to be able to save towards buying a new home. The bank doesn't have to be selling a home mortgages, but because I like that bank that is showing interest in my personal growth when it comes to my finances, I want to make sure that I am saving with that bank. I just love that bank. Okay, that's also very, very important. And that also grows loyalty and affinity, like I've just said. Okay, the more free content they get and the more valuable the content, the likelihood that they would want to be loyal to the brand. And it builds trust and credibility. Okay, because the brand gets a lot of engagement with its audience. You're interfacing, you're giving a lot of it. So they trust you more. They believe that everything, that the things you're doing are not salesy, they're not gimmicky. They trust you. When you're giving away free value, they trust you. They don't think that it's an agenda. Okay, so they are likely to trust you a lot more. Okay, and then finally, it is also good for customer engagement. Okay, because what often happens is that through a blog, you get people to subscribe to a newsletter or whatever, and you get to send them content, get to engage with them, because people will comment on the blog. You learn a lot more through the blog and things like that. And through that engagement, you are able to position your brand a lot more as a solution to the challenges that they have. Because remember, people don't buy products, they don't buy brands, they buy solutions. Okay, so through the engagement, you'll be able to learn a lot more about the consumers and be able to position your brand, position your product as a solution to their needs. So that's the first part. That's part one of this series, why you need a blog. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to share with you, for example, how to start a blog, how to develop your blog post content, and also how to drive traffic to your blog, and a lot more that will come in. Thank you for joining me on this one, and catch you on the next one.